is up, my britches? If you're new here, hello, my name is Brittany. In today's video, we're talking all about my current favorite makeup brushes. Some of you have heard me talk about a lot of these brushes. Some of them you've never heard me talk about. So I figure, especially right now because a lot of people are Christmas shopping and stuff, and there's a lot of good deals going on. So I figure let's talk about brushes because I think this is one of the best things that you can gift a makeup lover for Christmas time. And also you can gift for yourself for Christmas time. Because sometimes we see some of the best deals around this time of the year. So that's why I figured let's talk about it now. I also want to do like my top makeup products of the year, my worst makeup products of the year. We're at the year end. You guys know how it is. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And if you're watching the playback, I would recommend watching it like 1.5 to 2 times. We like to ramble. We like to talk a lot. I like to get involved with the live chat because this is live if you're new here. And all aboard the Hot Mess Express because it's bound to be a whole shit show up in here. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's just dive right in because I have a lot to go through. So the first brand that I'm going to start with is Rephr, which you guys have heard me talk a lot about Rephr. These are the face brushes that I own. I own so many of their eye brushes. Like I keep all of my eye brushes in this right here. So I'm a big fan of Rephr specifically because they're natural hair and I love their brushes for my eyes. So I do prefer a natural hair brush for my eyes because I do have hooded eyes. So a lot of synthetic brushes will tug on my eyes, not all of them, but a lot of them will. So I feel that you just get a better blend with natural hair. And then also I just love just so many of their shapes. So I'm just going to go through like brand specific brush. And then if you guys have any questions in the meantime, I can always answer them. So the first brush, I'm going to try to keep these in the number order. So for eye brushes, I'm going to start with the Rephr number 1. And you're going to see these are all going to be used because I use them, okay? So the number 1, I would say this is like the workhorse brush. It just gives me an all-around blend if I need to. I could keep it really precise in my crease. I could do the outer corner with this one. I can do everything with this brush. It kind of reminds me of the Sonia G Worker Pro, which is another brush that I would recommend. It will probably be featured later in this video. But this brush specifically, I just think is one of the most workhorse-friendly brushes that they have. And when I could get multi-purpose out of one brush, I love that shit. So that is one of my top used, most recommended. And also the Rephr number 2, which this one, it has more of a, almost like a paddle, but it's a little bit wider. I personally like this one for either getting my lower lash line or carving out my crease. And it allows me to be precise, but it's still also, you could use it to blend, even though it isn't super fluffy. It just works really perfectly for, especially when I'm trying to carve out my crease. So I love this one for that. And then we have the pencil brush, which is the number 3. There are so many brands that have pencil brushes. So it's like, I don't feel like it's as necessary to go natural hair, but I'm like, if you're going to buy from Rephr, you might as well buy a set because the sets are always the best value, and I will have everything linked down below for you guys. But this is a really great pencil brush. It gets nice and precise right in the inner corner. I can get my brow bone. I can do other things with it, but that's the main purpose that I use that for. And then these two, they're very similar. It's the 13 and 14. It's just the 13 is a little bit smaller than the 14. So this is if I want just a more precise blend right on the edge. I could do the same step. It's just the 14 is going to cover a little bit more area, I guess you could say. So they're just more precise blenders, but if you have hooded eyes, those are spectacular because they're very precise, but they're still fluffy. I hope you guys could see what these actually look like by me just doing that, but that's why I like holding them up to my eye, so that way you could see just how they fit in there. See how it almost like makes its own crease? That's why I like this. And they're almost like the 14 is a little bit more tapered than the 13, but they're still rounded. But this one here, the 14, just has a little bit more of a taper, which I do like. And then we get into the more blender style brushes. So they're a little bit bigger. I have the 16 and also the 15. So the 16 is obviously just a little bit bigger. Shape is kind of similar, very reminiscent to the 13 and 14. The 15 is just a little bit more rounded, where the 16 is a little bit more tapered. So it just overall depends on what kind of blend that I'm kind of trying to get. I like to use this one. This is the 15 for if I want to just basically throw a bronzer right in my crease. It works perfectly for that. And then also for the same purpose, but if I want just a little bit more definition, I'll use the 16. And it just fits really nicely up there. It gets a nice blend too if I have my brow bone highlight put on. And then I could just go underneath and blend everything together. Again, it just depends on the size of the brush that you're looking for. Because when you put all these side by side, I'll give you a visual so you can see. So this is the 13, 14, 15, 16. You can see they're very different in size, but they are for relatively the same purpose just because they're blender style brushes. So I think these right here, if you have hooded eyes, these are all staples. I love these brushes. And then we have the Rephr 21, which this is to me like a dupe for the MAC 242. Remember that one? It's really perfect if you want to carve out for a, what do you want? A cut crease. There we go. If you want to carve out for a cut crease, or if you're trying to get a nice, you know, brow bone highlight or something like that, I could use it for that as well. This I really like using for my metallic or my pressed glitters. Really anything, because it is more of a flat paddle style brush. And I'll give you a visual next to the 242. They're very, very similar to one another. But the 242 is no longer available in the original state. I actually don't know if this brush is even available anymore. But the Rephr 21, this is the closest thing that I have found to this one. Again, it's just a flat brush. It's very good. Y'all are quiet as fuck today. I hope you guys are enjoying this and listening to me. But I would love to know, too, what are your guys' favorite brushes? Because, again, this is live, so live chat, interact with me. Will ya? All right, next we have another pencil brush. I don't use this one as much, but I think it has such a purpose in so many people's collection. So it's the Rephr 23, which is the most precise pointed powder or pointed brush that I've ever seen. So this is compared to the Rephr number 3. Just to see the size difference, like it's so tiny. I use it for the same purpose. If I want a really precise inner corner, really precise brow bone highlight, whatever, I love both of these brushes. And then another blender style brush is the 27. This almost reminds me of, remember when everybody used to go nuts over the Sigma E40? That's, in my opinion, what this is. It's got that rounded shape, so it's a little bit bigger than, what was that brush number? It's a little bit bigger than the 15. Again, for the same purpose. You don't need all these blender brushes. Don't feel like you need them all. But it just gives that all over blend to finish everything off. It's a beautiful brush. I really love that one. And then the last one is the Rephr 28, which this is very similar to another brush that I highly recommend, which is the Eome, what is it? The W21. So they're very similar, if not damn near identical. The fibers are just a different color, but they're both they're both natural. What am I thinking? Both are natural hair brushes. And these are fantastic for picking up metallic eyeshadows. So Eome is another brand I highly recommend. That's one of the brushes that I'll talk about later. But same purpose for this one. If I want to just get a nice, precise application with my metallics, pressed glitters, it almost gives the same effect as if you were to pick it up with your finger. That's why I really like this one. And then a couple face brushes. Like, I love so many Rephr brushes, but I feel that their powder brushes are my favorite. And I have so many of the same ones, which tells you that I like them so much. So we've got the 4 and 5. These are my top 2, simply because I love them for basically like bronzer application, fits beautifully, blush application. So the one with the angle, that's the 4, and then the one that is rounded is the 5. So I believe you can get this in like the core set, a few different sets. I'm pretty sure that either both or one of these are available in. So this one I prefer for bronzer. This one I prefer for blush. 4 for blush, 5 for bronzer. And then there's the 37, which I would love to see a smaller version of this, because I do use this for my powder contour sometimes, but it's just a little bit bigger than what I would like. But I do use this one a lot, even for if I want basically like contour, bronzer, and blush. All 3 of these brushes, I could use that same technique. If I had to pick one of the 3, I would personally go with the number 4. I love that it has the angle. I love the overall, just the size of it, the user-friendliness of it. It's not super prickly or anything like that. These brushes are very soft. I overall just love Rephr, especially if you're looking for natural hair makeup brushes. These are the tits. I love them. So sticking with, I'm going to stick with the natural hair brushes for now because there's only like a few other ones that I highly recommend. So now I'll move into Eome. That's not an Eome brush. So I don't love all of these brushes, but my top two, I'm going to say, are these two right here. One of which I've already talked about, which is the W21. Again, just to get that precise application for if I want the imitation of a finger with my metallics, this is the one I go for. But then I also really love the W23. This is a brush you've heard me talk about for years. So my favorite eye brush is the, or not eye brush, my favorite eye primer is the Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas Eye Primer. I love applying this with that because it allows me to carve out my brow and then get nice overall, just an overall even distribution of product. But the main purpose I like about this one is because of how it fits and carves out those areas. Like, I didn't use it today, and I feel like I can always notice when I don't use this because my brows just look a little bit sharper. My overall eye application, I feel, looks just a little bit more even, if that makes sense. This one, I think, is a really great brush. Both of these are fantastic. The other ones are great, but they're not as soft as I feel that the Rephr brushes are, and I feel like they're very similar in there's a lot of brush shape similarities between them. The only thing that I want to see come from Rephr is like a flat definer brush like this one. Like, this is a great brush. This is the T05, but it's a flat definer brush. Like, there's nothing extravagant about it. Like, it's nice, you get nice precise application, but there's like 100 of those for each brand. So sticking with natural hair, let's get into some Sonia G. I love these two eye brushes. We have the Worker Pro, which is what I was talking about with the Rephr #1. I use this for the same purpose. I feel like this is a little bit smaller than the Rephr #1. Let me try to find it really quick. I have so many of the Rephr ones. So they're kind of similar, except the Worker Pro is just a little bit smaller. So I can get even more precision, but it has that pinched ferrule right here. So it's nice, precise. Again, you can carve out your crease. You can do the outer corner. Worker Pro is a perfect name for it. It's just a workhorse brush. And then we have the just Worker from Sonia G. So this one is like if I just don't feel like fucking around and I want to get my eyes done in like 0.2 seconds, this is the brush that I use if I want to just slap something all over my lid. I use this a lot for like my cream eyeshadows or my cream and powder duos, stuff like that if I'm not using my finger. Because it's so big and so dense, I could just get my eyes done super quickly with this one. But I know that this was limited edition. I don't know if you can get this one anymore, or at least it might not look the same. I think it's in this packaging normally, but it's very similar as far as purpose, I guess, kind of. No, I'm not going to say purpose because this one's more for like crease work. This is more for just like an all over if you're wanting to be a little bit more, maybe even messy. Is that the right word? Like if you don't need like a super precise application, this is just like an all over brush. That's at least what I use it for. So I think that's all for my eye brushes. Like that's literally all that I need in eye brushes. I have a few more that I would recommend outside of those, but I swear I would just recommend Rephr eye brushes. Point blank, period. That's at least just my personal opinion. So I'm also going to talk about Wayne Goss really quick. Oh, wait. I've got some more brushes for Sonia G. So this is the brush. Remember when I was saying how I wish that there was a smaller brush for the Rephr, not the 4. That's not the right one. Hold on. I got to grab it so you guys know what I'm talking about. So the Rephr 37, a smaller brush that I want, almost something like this right here. So this is from Sonia G. This is from, it was like a travel set. I got this from the Beautylish gift, the Lucky Bag. This is the soft face brush. So technically it's a travel brush, but this is the perfect size for this right here. I love this for my powder contour, even like a light dusting of blush. I just love it. And it's awfully convenient that it's so tiny. So this one usually travels with me because it is a travel brush, but I love the shape, the size, like I love everything about this, the density, the softness of it, and then also the Sonia G detail brush. So this is almost like a smaller version of the Rephr 4. It's a lot more precise. I love this one too. Also for my powder contour, blush. Are you guys getting the gist of what I like? Because there are a lot of brushes that I do like, but they're all for a very similar purpose. But I love all of them for different reasons. So now we have Wayne Goss. There's two brushes that I love, both of which I'm not even sure if you can get these. So I'm sorry if you can't, but the fact that they've stood the test of time, it just tells you how much I love them. So the first one is the Wayne Goss. I believe this is called the Airbrush. Who has this brush? It is so good for getting that under eye detail, like, not detail, under eye like dusting or like a finishing powder. You could also contour with it, blush. Another workhorse brush, but it is so fluffy and so soft. I fucking love this brush so much. This is the main purpose that I use it for. Like if I want to just dust away any bake, or if I'm wanting to do like a light dusting of powder on under my eyes, because it's so soft and it's literally like air. It's such a good brush for that. And then I also love the Wayne Goss number 4. Remember these like calligraphy look? I feel like you can see it better when I don't hold my hand behind it. These like calligraphy looking makeup brushes. I love this for a highlight. One of my favorite highlighter brushes that I have in my collection, but again, I'm not sure if you can get this one. There were, I think, 2 more that I have somewhere, but this one was my favorite, was the number 4. So that's it for my Wayne Goss. And then let me just make sure. Yeah, this was the Wayne Goss number 3. I don't like this one as much. I can kind of use it for the same purpose as that airbrush, but this was in that same collection, but I love the number 3 the most. Okay. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything, because now we're getting into the synthetics. And, like, I have other brands. Like, I have Patrick Ta brushes. I have fucking Scott Barnes brushes. I'm seeing some Lunar Beauty, House Labs, Rare Beauty, like, all sorts of different brushes. But these are the ones, I'm telling you, I reach for these brands specifically all the time. It's like, I just know exactly where to reach for them. Now I'll get into BK Beauty, which I feel like is how probably a lot of you may have found me when I did my collaboration with them. So the first and foremost, like, this is by far the most amount of brushes that I own are from BK Beauty. A lot of them are gifted to me. A lot of them are just they resend them to me because they know how much I love them. So there's a few different brushes specifically where I'm like, these are run don't walks. I feel like they're very unique to the collection because every brush from BK Beauty is good. It's just a matter of what exactly it is that you're looking for. But some of my most repurchased, or I should say regifted, not repurchased. I think I've bought in a few of these, but for the most part, they are usually sent to me. So I have to start with the 101. This is like the one that made me fall in love with their brushes. This just gets your foundation done so fucking quickly. Like, see how fast I'm able to just cover the size of my big face? I love that one for foundation, but this is my favorite brush that they make. It's the 109, and I love this especially for concealer. I love this for my cream bronzer, contour, cream blush, cream highlight. I could use this for fucking everything. And because they're synthetic, you can go between like creams, liquids, powders, but I find that BK, I personally prefer with liquids and creams. There's another brand that I'm going to recommend that I use for all 3. And that's probably what I'm going to get to next. So I really love this brush, especially for my concealer. I feel like that's the most specific purpose that I use this for, aside from blending out my cream contour. But I also really love the Nikki LaRose brush in the N15. I like this for just a nice powder blush application. Do I feel like you need all these brushes that I've talked about, like 5 other ones? No, you don't need them all. But I'm just telling you which ones I like. Kiana's asking, what's happening for your hubby's B-Day? Yeah, today's my husband's birthday, guys. So I think I'm going to take him out to Del Lago. He's at work right now, but I think I'm going to take him out there for a little while after he gets out. So I'm live while we're waiting for him to get out of work. Another brush from BK that I really love is the 107. I keep grabbing like the travel size ones. This is if I had a freelance kit, BK Beauty would definitely be a brand that I would have because they just make really soft, nice synthetic brushes that are really great quality. But this is more for if I were to freelance. I would use this all the time as a bronzer brush. So it's another one. It just fits perfectly right here. Blends out everything really nice. And then I also love, what the hell is it? I just got a couple new ones today. And I kind of want to mention them, but I've only used it once. I'm going to throw it in here. But I feel like this one is going to be a new favorite. It's the 116. So they just launched this today for this new set of these 3 brushes here. And I'm like, this one is going to grow on me, I think. It's the 114. This one I used today to blend out my under eye application. And then the 115 is basically it's a brush comparable to the 101 and the 109, but it's like a size in the middle of the 2 sizes. So let me show you the 101, the 109, and then you'll see the 115 in the middle. See how it's just like small, medium, large? That's what this is giving. So this is the new one here. 109 is all-time favorite. 101 is all-time favorite. This one here, it's like, I like it. It gives me a little bit more coverage. I notice, like, I feel like I have a lot of coverage, like, on the top area of my face. The bottom of my face might look a little fucked up because I filmed a lip swatch video today. But I felt like this was really nice, but I do prefer the 101. But in this set specifically, I was so excited to see the 116 because one of my favorite brushes used to be the 106. And this one, it's even smaller. And this is what I have been asking for literally years. Like, I guarantee if you go back on any of my videos where I'm talking about the 106, I will say that I want a smaller version. And I even would like a smaller version than this one. But I think that this is going to become a new favorite for me. And then again, we have this one. That's the 114. It's almost like a concealer slash powder concealer. I don't know. Like, basically you could apply your cream and then set it. Like, the bristles are different on each side. It's nice. It's just going to take a little bit of time for me to get used to because I'm so used to using something like this. So, I think that's the most recommended brushes that I have from BK. I'm going through them. Like, I just keep pulling up 109s. Like, the amount of 109 brushes that I have is problematic. But I use all of them. I love them. Same with the 101. Like, I've got a bunch of different ones of like the small size ones. I've got, what is this? The 107. I collect a lot of the same brushes because I use them and I hate washing my brushes, guys. Okay, so the next one. You have not heard me talk other than probably my last video about this brand at all. And that's Krystelle Cosmetics. And let me grab this right here. So these you may recognize if you're on TikTok. You keep seeing people using these blue-handled makeup brushes. And that's the brand Krystelle Cosmetics. So these are technically synthetics as well as the BK Beauty. But these have different fibers that make them closer, like, it's like a closer imitation to natural hair because of the bristles that they use. So my personal favorite are these ones right here. I think these are such good brushes. We have the K12, which this one I personally like to do like a blend out of my eye primer. That's what I was talking about earlier with, I like that Eome brush, but I also like this one if I'm in more of a rush and I'm not really concerned about carving anything out. I can get my eye blended out so fast with this one. And then the next one is the K53. And I want to let you guys know, I was testing these out for months before I actually came out and said how I felt about them. But this has become one of my favorite, like, all-over powder brushes because it's massive and I can just get the powder done lickety-split. I love it. And then we have the K1. And you can tell how much I love this brush because you can't even see the Krystelle Cosmetics. I use this all the time. So this is very reminiscent to how I feel about the BK 101. It's just massive. I can get my foundation done so quickly, and I could do almost every aspect of my makeup with this one. It's just a little bit bigger, so I have to just plan to not be as precise. But when I want more precision, guys, if there is one brush that I recommend, it's the K21 from Krystelle Cosmetics. This is probably my favorite brush in my collection right now because I just love how it sits on the face. I love how it fits in all of my nooks and crannies. It's just the perfect brush for me because it's almost, I keep wanting to say like it's similar to the 109, but it's not. Like it's completely different. The sizing is different. It's just like how I feel about it is how I feel about the 109. Like I love that brush so much. But this one, it's got the size that makes it more multi-purpose. So I feel like if I had to tell you one brush out of my entire collection that I would recommend trying, it would be this one. I fucking love it. And I love like the long, sleek handle. It's so soft. Like one of the softest brushes in my collection. When you touch these, you're going to be surprised that they're synthetic. They're that soft. And then the other thing that I love about these is that when you're cleaning them, they barely hang on to product. So it's like whenever you're cleaning your brushes, it doesn't take you a long time because you don't have all that makeup buildup in it because of the fibers that are used in those brushes. So I fucking love Krystelle Cosmetics. Again, if you see these blue handled brushes, that's what they are. They're the only brand that I know of that does the blue handles like that. They're beautiful. And then I think the last two brands that I have are Gerard Cosmetics and Viv. So I mainly featured these because I was gifted the whole collection from Gerard Cosmetics. And I love a lot of the brushes. But I just want people to know, like, I didn't buy these. But I don't think you guys really give a shit anyways. Like, you know I'm going to be fair whether I was gifted them or not. So there are these brushes. That goes with Viv. These four brushes specifically, I feel like are the best brushes in the Gerard collection. I like all of them, but these are the most special in my opinion. So the first one is the Fantastic Finishing. I love this one for highlight. You've seen quite a few highlighter brushes, and you're going to see another one. But they all look different. I feel like this is just one of the most unique fans that I've ever gotten. And then these three brushes are the High and Low, the Superdome Powder Brush, and the Flusher Precision Brush. These are softer than all of the other brushes that are in this collection. There's something about the fibers in these so soft, and I just love them for my powder application because they're not prickly on the face. Like, even compared to some of the ones that I've applied to my face, like these are significantly softer. Like, oh, they're so nice. They almost remind me of like squirrel hair. Not as soft, but for being synthetic, you can't even complain about it. So these three I think are fabulous. This one I like to use, what was this one? The Flusher Precision Blush Brush. I like to use this one for blush. The High and Low Highlight and Bronzer Brush, I like to use this for bronzer. And then like the, what was it, the K53, I like to use this one as like an all over just powder sweep. Powder sweep, love it. And then I do have a couple Viv brushes because you guys know how much I love Viv. But I feel like the shape of these are what make me the most excited about this one. The 125 Highlight, it's almost like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's a paddle style, but it comes to a point, so I can get nice and precise, but it still allows it to blend. If that makes sense, you let me know. If it doesn't, just ignore it. And then the other brush that I love from Viv is the angled brush. I like this one for my brows because it's firm. It's got a nice little flip to it, and I like that it has the spoolie. So this is the brush that I like to use for my brow. The one that I used today was the Gerard Cosmetics, but I like this one better than the Gerard Cosmetics. And then the other brush that I think is just unique is the Precise Eyeshadow Packer. I don't use this as like a lid packer. I use this for inner corner packer. It's fabulous for that. So I think that is all of my top brush recommendations. I hope I got them all. I'm pretty sure that I did though. I reach for a lot of the same brushes like I was saying. Hey boo, I see you guys all trickling in. Like y'all come in when I'm already done. What the fuck? I know it's kind of last minute. I would suggest though, if you guys like watching my lives and stuff, make sure you follow me on Instagram. I always post on my Insta story when I'm going to be going live. And also turn on your notifications on YouTube and also on TikTok. Because TikTok is where I'm the most active. And then whenever I'm on Insta story, that's where I always post like when I'm going live and stuff like that. Let me see what you guys are saying in the live chat. Let me know what your guys' favorite brushes are. I've got only a couple minutes left before my husband gets home for his birthday. Did anybody get the Sonia G holder? I was working and I missed it. She's a beauty though. I did not get that. And I couldn't justify the price because I was like, it's just like an acrylic organizer is all that I need. And I like that these are clear so I could see all the brushes. This is the most ideal, but I don't think that this brand is in business anymore. Remember Zara Beauty with Coffee Break with Danny? That's how long I've had this. But I honestly, if you guys want my recommendation on brush storage, I'm going to recommend Rephr. So these are the storage containers and they're magnetic. And you can get, I think you can get them individually or you can get them in like a case. I don't know. They came with what? 4? 4 of these, 1 of these, and then there's like a lipstick organizer, and then I use one for my eyeliner. These are my current favorite just because they're bigger and I like putting my face brushes in there. So I would highly recommend that. Now that I think about it, does Rephr still sell those? I'm not sure. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just wanted to share, like, if you guys are in the market for brushes or if you're wanting to gift somebody brushes, I do think that there's a lot of incredible brushes on the market. It's just these are the ones that really fit my needs, fit my likes, because they give me a little bit of luxury. They give me just overall, in my opinion, good-looking makeup. So you can feel free to disagree, and I would love to know if there's any brushes that you guys want to see me pick up. But I would say that, like, anytime you have recommendations, I am always open to brush recommendations or testing new brushes. I will be testing a lot of new brushes for a brand coming soon. So if you see any brushes that you ask what they are and I can't answer, that's why. Because I like to spend a lot of time when I'm testing brushes. So again, if you see me using brushes that you either don't recognize or haven't seen, or you start seeing some really odd shapes that I wouldn't typically go for, I'm just testing them out to give feedback for a brand. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did or did not like it, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up or thumbs it down. Again, don't forget to leave your recommendations down below, and I hope to see you guys in my next one.